Akisa Wandera. Now, the Kenyatta National Hospital consultant doctors are adamant that the collective bargaining agreement has to be adhered to for them to head back to work. The consultants were speaking just a day after over 700 registrars downed their tools. And our reporter, Caroline B., is following up this for us. She now joins us live from the Kenyatta National Hospital. She will be giving us updates in a short while. But first of all, let's take a look at what the consultants said earlier on in the day.
We want to be facilitated to do our work. For a long time, and going back to this issue of the medical mishap that happened, an issue of mislabeling, what do the developed world do? They have barcodes that they tag on the patient. And these barcodes is just like you'd go to supermarket to Chumi and they scan something that identify this is Bluebird 1 kg. You now identify this is patient Joroge Kamau, 48 years, from Githunguri. Right? What does it require? It requires a computerized system. And this computerized system can do much more than just labeling the patient. It can keep all the records of this patient such that when you come to Kenyatta, you don't have to be made to queue at clinic number 19 looking for your file. You don't have to be looking to go to be sent, get your file from here, get your lab results from lab number 16. No. Also get your imaging from Dr. Odhiambo at the radiology department. All that is captured within the what is called a PACS system. How much does it cost? A mere 100 million shillings. And I'm saying a mere 100 million shillings because the government of Kenya spent 34 billion shillings in what is popularly known as a medical equipment leasing system. In this medical equipment leasing system, we are told, because I have not been to the counties, that the government equipped 97 facilities with state-of-the-art dialysis machines, ICU machines, MRIs, CT scans, and you know what Kenyatta got? 0% of that. As we talk, we have only one CT scan to take care of 2,400 patients. The requests that are done for Kenyatta for CT scans, even if you are to wheel those patients one after the other one without a minute gap, you cannot finish those requests. We have an MRI that is dead. So today, if you walked into a referral hospital of Kenyatta size, it does not have a working magnetic resonant imaging. Are we then justified to blame doctors for mistakes that do occur? If you come with a head injury and I can't do a CT scan for you in the immediate period, whose mistake is this? If you walk out, let me tell you, and I'll give you an example of you journalists. If by accident you collapse there from a heart attack, and I walk you into this casualty here, I can't be able to diagnose your problem. I may not access an ECG machine. I may not access cardiac enzymes. I may not access a defibrillator. Despite my knowledge of how to handle your situation, I will watch you die. And that's the reality. And you will be glad to say, when I went to Kenyatta, nothing was done. Perhaps you have been queuing here waiting for a doctor, and the doctor, you're not even aware that the doctor has been spending the whole night working, patient after patient in theater. That's why he's not late. That's why he's late coming to see you in this casualty. Let us be honest to each other. Let us build the Kenyatta that we want. And we are inviting the members of the public, and more so, those in the administration. The sad thing that happened as far as the administration is concerned is that our government, in its wisdom or lack of it, took money, took medical covers for all its senior employees for them to attend to the various private hospitals. So you are getting money from the exchequer and funding private institutions, which is not a bad thing. We all need the private institutions to work. But at the end of the day, you did not remember to fund your public health.
Right, the leadership of the doctors' consultants there, the Kenyatta National Hospital, very emotionally speaking there. Our reporter, Caroline B., has been on this story from yesterday. She joins us live now from our city centre studios. Very good afternoon to you, Caroline. The crisis at the Kenyatta National Hospital continues, but with the consultants now downing their tools. I mean, what are the issues? What does this mean for the Kenyatta National Hospital?
Good afternoon to you, Akisa. Yes, early morning I spent my time at the Kenyatta National Hospital, and I can say it's a sad state of affairs. Just looking at the patients who arrived there, I was able to speak to one of the doctors and who says that normally when patients come in, they normally come in their large numbers, but today there were fewer. Reason being due to yesterday's strike, or the registrars who boycotted work yesterday because of their colleague who was suspended last week following the surgery hitch that went on. And of course, some of the patients who arrived there as early as 7 a.m. Let me just give a case of one of the patients I spoke to. He says he arrived there at 7 a.m. this morning. No assistance had been given to him as of 12 noon around this time, and so he wasn't sure whether his child was going to get treatment, but all he could do was actually wait and see whether he's going to get assistance. I asked him, so what could be the reason why he still hasn't got any assistance? And he said he doesn't have an idea of what could have happened, but this is as a result of the registrars' strike yesterday, which started off yesterday, and right now the consultants have actually joined them. The consultants say that Kenyatta National Hospital has been in existence for a very long time, but it has been neglected in terms of the facilities and also the financial assistance it is supposed to get. Looking at the number of patients who flock there daily, there are so many such that the doctors there are not able to actually treat all of them. So what they are basically asking for is an additional number of doctors, or surgeons for that matter, so that they can be able to treat all the patients who come there. And also concerning the surgery problem that actually went on, what they want is an audit to be done quickly so that all the issues can be done and everyone can go back to the work. Remember, there is also the lecturer strike, which has also affected the teaching of these registrars in this hospital. Lakisa?
All right, Caroline, be there with that latest update from the Kenyatta National Hospital, as the consultants have now also joined in on the strike after their colleagues, the registered doctors, began their strike yesterday, and of course raising a number of issues. Let's now speak to the Secretary General of the Central Organization of Trade Unions, KOTU, Francis Atwoli, now joins us live on phone. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for making time for us here on KTN News Desk. The crisis at the Kenyatta National Hospital continues as groups of professionals continue to down their tools. I mean, what are your thoughts on this, being the KOTU Secretary General?
Sister, it is a very complex matter because, Kenya, it's one of the very well advanced countries in the world that has enormous industrial relations machinery to settle any dispute or grievances before we end up with strikes. But what is happening in public service unions is a little bit unique because they are directly invoking what is in Article 41 of our national constitution, that every worker has a right to go on strike. It shouldn't be done like that, but I think what the government is supposed to do under Labour Relations Act, it must set up a multi-sectoral social partners committee for public service unions, that before they end up with strike, first of all, they must report their dispute to the Ministry of Labour. A reconciliation mechanism be put in place. When they disagree there, they move to industrial court. And after in industrial court, if they have not agreed, or they have agreed and then the government has refused to implement the industrial court's order, that is when they are supposed to go on strike. But what we are also noticing is very unique for us who have been around for some time and who are experts in industrial relations practice for a long time. You find the officials of the unions in public service unions, once they assemble and they start singing solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. The following day they are on strike. And that should not be a key to strike. Strike has stages before you reach there. And this is causing a lot of harm to both, for example, take that was the strike with the WASU. They are still negotiating. The government has not responded, and they have not reported any dispute. I was inquiring with the Ministry of Labour. There is nothing there reported, and then they are all of a sudden on strike. So I think in Labour Relations Act, this is going to compel government to put something there so that a proper mechanism the enormous industrial, so many industrial relations machinery we have are invoked by the public service unions. This is not with us and with our affiliates in Central Organization of Trades Unions because of so much advanced training at Tom Mboya Labour College on grievances and dispute handling.
All right, thank you very much for speaking to us. That is Francis Otwole, the Secretary General of the Central Organization of Trade Unions here in the country. This is a story we continue to follow up on for you as strikes in the public service unions continue here in the country. I want us to quickly take a short break here on KTN News Desk. When we get back, we still have a lot more land